If Manchester City win this, I think we can give them the title already. I think they're too far ahead. But Manchester United can put a little bit of doubt in the backs of their minds with a win this weekend. Hello and welcome back to the Premier League preview on my channel. We have another fantastic set of game week fixtures this week. We had 17 in the space of the last sort of 8 days or so. It's really been an interesting period of football, which has seen Liverpool slip further down the table and Manchester City look as if they have got one hand on the title already. If you are new around here, be sure to like and subscribe. This is the best place to go for your fantasy football tips and to get a preview of everything going on in the Premier League this weekend. So as you can tell from the title, I will be looking in extra detail at Manchester United versus Manchester City. The Manchester derby is always exciting in the set of fixtures and it's really interesting. But let's have a look, see who else is playing this weekend. So I won't give you the full rundown of the fixtures, I'll probably just put them on the screen like I did last week for you so you guys can have a look. There is an extra game this week with Manchester City facing Southampton. So without further ado, we will jump into the players to watch section this week. So the first player to watch this week I have chosen is a player from the Tottenham versus Crystal Palace game. I'm going with Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale got back on the score sheet last week and seemed to represent a player that we've seen in the past. The Gareth Bale from the first few seasons at Real Madrid and at Spurs before he left. He looked really fantastic and he scored some good goals in that period as well. So it'll be interesting to see against Crystal Palace, who maybe aren't on the best run of form themselves. Held Manchester United to a 0-0 draw, which is more saying something about Manchester United than Crystal Palace, if I'm brutally honest with you. But Gareth Bale has finally seemed to come into some form, and I think we all knew it was going to happen. Gareth Bale is a more than talented player, and he seems to do fantastic in periods, and I think we're finding that period again. He always has purple patches. Jose Mourinho has somewhat stuck by him, but he's also given him a lot of criticism, which may have worked in Jose Mourinho's favour in this situation. It doesn't always work like that for managers, but in this situation it seems to have worked. Gareth Bale looked to be pretty much back to his best, maybe not his absolute best, not his peak, but he looked pretty good in the last few games in the Europa League and in the league. So he'll be a player to keep close eye on. So the next player I have chosen to watch this week is Anwar El Ghazi. Aston Villa have been short of form in recent weeks. They did get a win against Leeds United, but without Jack Grealish they look like a completely different team. They don't look like they're going to score quite as many goals as they do with Jack Grealish on the team. That's where I think El Ghazi comes in. I think he can be that player to score goals and maybe create a few chances for Aston Villa against a Wolves side who are also struggling themselves. So it'll be a game that is probably a good one to watch in the sense that I think it'll be open. I think it'll be dictated by key moments in the game, and I think it could be a proper goal fest. But that being said, Aston Villa come into this game having just lost to Sheffield United, and not only losing to Sheffield United, but it was a 10-man Sheffield United as well. It is a difficult game to weigh up. I think Aston Villa must be the favourites going into it even without Jack Grealish. But I think El Ghazi needs to find his goal scoring form. We saw him score a goal against Leeds, which was obviously turned out to be the vital goal. Ollie Watkins as well needs to chip in with a few goals when Jack Grealish isn't there. He can't always have Jack Grealish to put them on a plate for him to create the chances, or Ross Barkley or whoever it is. He needs to be able to work as an individual as well as with a teammate. And I think that's important for the attacking lineup of Aston Villa, and I think that's the one thing Aston Villa lack at the minute, is that creativity and that spark, and that's where I think El Ghazi will come in. I think he can be a player who can be a bit more creative, maybe not in the same sense that Jack Grealish is, because Jack Grealish is a fantastic flair player, but I think he can use a little bit of pace and his keen eye for goal to propel Aston Villa for a win this weekend. And last but not least, the moment you've been waiting for, the reason you probably clicked on the video, Manchester United versus Manchester City, or in this case Manchester City against Manchester United. It is at the Etihad my bad. It is at the Etihad this week, and I think it'll be an interesting game. If Manchester City win this, I think we can give them the title already. I think they're too far ahead, but Manchester United can put a little bit of doubt in the backs of their minds with a win this weekend. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to sort his tactics out against these big teams, because it's all well and good taking a point against the big teams, but we've seen it this season that those points just haven't been good enough for him. If he'd have taken points against Chelsea both times this season when we're drawn 0-0, then he'd be 4 points closer to Manchester United, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's fantastic for the confidence as well. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to look at his tactics for this week. Manchester United wise, the key player is always going to be Bruno Fernandes. Been really impressed with him this season. I think he's a fantastic star man. Really brought this team together, but I think it's worth looking at Edinson Cavani as well. Against John Stones and Ruben Diaz, Stones and Diaz have been fantastic this season, but Stones is known for making a few high profile errors and Diaz is still pretty young. So an experienced striker like Edinson Cavani will no doubt be able to break these two down, and I think he could get a little bit of joy in behind, being a target man as well. I think that's really important for them, linking up the play between the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial, if he's still playing. I don't think he is. I think he's been poor so far this season. Manchester City wise, it's always going to be hard to tell who to pick for Manchester City. The rotation of Manchester City's attacking lineup doesn't help, but I'm going to go with Riyad Mahrez this week. I think Mahrez has been the standout player of the last double game week. Manchester City have another double game week this week, as I mentioned earlier, against Southampton, and I think Riyad Mahrez almost becoming a staple player in this Manchester City side. He's maybe not someone that everyone associates with being a fantastic player, but the talent is there, it's clear to see. His trickery and his skill could unlock that Manchester United defence or the Southampton defence, and I think that's really important. Luke Shaw is just coming back into this Manchester United side, and as good as he has been this season since the arrival of Alex Telles to give him a bit of competition, I do think there is a player in there still capable of making mistakes, and I think with a player like Riyad Mahrez, who is so adept going by players and cutting in on that dangerous left foot, I think Luke Shaw is really going to struggle against Riyad Mahrez this week. And I think Mahrez, provided he doesn't do what he did at Anfield and plays a penalty over, which he did a few seasons ago, which was truly awful, I think he could be the star man to watch from this Manchester City team this week. Well, anyway, that concludes this week's Premier League preview. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, be sure to smash that like button down below. And as always, if you are new around here, be sure to hit subscribe. Thank you to all my new subscribers in recent weeks. We'd had a fantastic February, even though we didn't quite reach my milestone. But we still had a fantastic February, and I really appreciate all your guys' support. So thank you, and I will see you on Tuesday for the next instalment of 2 Minute Tuesday. Cheers!